Anime has the power to craft gripping revelations that are remembered for a lifetime, and no anime does this better than Attack on Titan. It's a show that has more jaw-dropping revelations than I can count, but one scene in particular is in its own league.
エレン、ちょっといいか？話があるんだが。
なんだよ。
俺たちは5年前、壁を破壊して人類への攻撃を始めた。
まさかついに地下を掘る巨人が現れたんだとしたら大変だ。
そうなると位置を特定するのは困難ですね。
俺が鎧の巨人で、こいつが超大型巨人ってやつ。
The warrior reveal uses a variety of storytelling techniques to set itself apart from all other anime plot twists, but it isn't about what the twist is, but rather how it's done. And it isn't as simple as just talking about the reveal. Sure, there's a lot to discuss there, but I wouldn't be able to do this scene justice without starting from the beginning. Right from the start, we see the Colossal and Armored Titan display behaviors strikingly different from regular Titans. Of course, at this point, there was no distinction between regular Titans and intelligent Titans. They were just Titans. But their coordinated assault on the walls don't resemble the rampage of other Titans. They're too calculated. And it's only when Eren unexpectedly transforms into a Titan that we begin to suspect that there might be something more going on here. Reiner and Bertold have rather intense reactions to Eren being revealed as a Titan shifter, a term we didn't even know existed at this stage. It's pretty understandable to be shocked seeing your friend become a monster, but even still, their reactions seem a bit more intense than the others. The next intelligent Titan we see is the female Titan. At this point, we don't yet know it's Annie, but the presence of another intelligent Titan reinforces the subtle clues from earlier, and when the female Titan is finally unmasked as Annie, it cements our suspicions. The Colossal and Armored Titans must be humans too, but what does that have to do with this scene? Well, Annie's close association between Reiner and Bertold only adds to these suspicions. We know that they've spent time together, and now that we know Annie is the female Titan, it casts a shadow of doubt on them. But let's take a step back to when the female Titan first made her appearance, during her attack on Armin and Reiner. Reiner's miraculous escape from her grasp seemed lucky at the time, but as Armin later reveals more information, it becomes clear that there might be more to this encounter that meets the eye. In retrospect, these seemingly innocuous moments were carefully woven into the narrative, serving as breadcrumbs that hinted at the impending revelation. We may have not paid much attention to them, but looking back, it's evident that they were all part of a meticulously crafted foreshadowing of the colossal reveal to come. And that's what makes this show such a masterpiece. I've probably watched it 4 or 5 times over, and straight from the second viewing, you begin to notice these hints that you might have not paid much attention to at first. The show didn't keep any secrets, it's all been there in front of us. They just left it in our hands to piece together. And that brings us to another scene which stands amazing on its own, but considering it in the build-up of the warrior reveal makes it that much better.
こりゃ缶詰か。なんだ、この文字は。俺には読めない。ニシンって書いてあるのか。お前、よくこの文字が読めたな。ユミル、お前。
Ymir is rummaging through a can of herring and reads the label. This should be rather mundane, but it hints at so much. The label is written in a language that the others don't know, yet Ymir reads it with ease and Reiner picks up on this. And here's the thing, Reiner knows what this means, but we don't. We know there's clearly more to Ymir than meets the eye, but we don't know what. But we know something else too. There's more going on with Reiner than we think. This tiny interaction not only foreshadows the possible existence of a world beyond the walls, but also ties Ymir and Reiner together, suggesting they share a secret. There's a bunch more hints building up to this scene, but they would take me forever to break down. But what I find more interesting than these hints is how Reiner has been portrayed up until this point. Reiner Braun stands at the crossroads of duty and identity, constantly battling the responsibilities that tear him apart. In the early arcs, we see Reiner as a soldier, steadfast, loyal, and protective. He's a role model for his peers, but beneath the surface, there's a warrior that is diametrically opposed to humanity. This duality isn't just a plot twist, it's an exploration into the weight of duty and how it can fracture someone's identity. Isayama's choice to flash out both aspects of Reiner's psyche without actually telling us much about his past really drives home the question, who is Reiner Braun? And when Reiner's reality unfurls, Eren Yeager stands as a mirror to our own shock.
お前さ、疲れてんだよ。なあ、ベルトルト。こうなってもおかしくないくらい大変だったんだろ。
ライナーは疲れているんだ。
大体な、お前が人類を殺しまくった鎧の巨人なら、なんでそんな相談を俺にしなくちゃなんねんだ。そんなこと言われて、俺が「はい行きます」ってうなずくわけがねえだろ。
He straight up denies what Reiner is saying, not just because of a friend's betrayal, but because accepting this truth shakes the very foundation of his reality. And as Eren is forced to confront and accept these revelations, so are we. Every clench of Eren's fist and every tremor in his voice resonates with our emotions. In a brilliant narrative move, Isayama doesn't distance the viewer from the protagonist's experience, but rather intertwines them, creating an immersion that's palpable and visceral. And that brings us to the actual episode itself. Or rather, it brings us to the episode prior. This episode brilliantly uses Ymir as a central figure, drawing our attention to her mysterious pasts, her cryptic actions, and of course, the unveiling of her as a Titan shifter. Did you notice that? There's another tiny hint at Bertolt being a Titan shifter where he goes to bite his hand as the tower is falling apart. But that's not why I'm talking about this episode. It's actually because the interactions between Ymir and the other characters, especially Historia, further contribute to this misdirection. We're so caught up in the emotional weight of their relationship, the sacrifices Ymir is willing to make, and the implications of her Titan form that the hints about Reiner and Bertolt become almost secondary. It's a clever use of emotional storytelling to shield us from the impending storm. By the time we reach the warrior reveal, the previous episode's focus on Ymir serves as a brilliant feint. When Reiner finally unveils his truth, the shock is magnified because we're looking elsewhere and the ground shifts dramatically. It's a testament to Isayama's storytelling genius where he skillfully manipulates audience attention, leading us one way only to pull the rug out from under us. And now we're finally at the episode itself, where the title already tells us so much. Warrior. Now, this word isn't new to us. We've heard it before, and I don't mean in life. I'm sure everyone above the age of 4 knows what a warrior is. I mean in the context of Attack on Titan.
あのわけのわからねえ状況下でよく動けたもんだよ。兵士としてそれなりの評価と待遇があっても、いいと思うんだがな。
ライナー、君は兵士じゃないだろう。僕らは戦士なんだから。
ライナー、何を。
おい、なんでマルコが食われてる。
This seemingly innocuous statement is packed with layers of meaning. It doesn't just refer to Reiner's past, it highlights the duality of his existence. Bertolt isn't just commenting on Reiner's courage or bravery, he's touching upon their shared mission and contrasting it with Reiner's soldier persona. The warrior represents their true identities, their duties from their homeland, and their roles as Titan shifters sent to infiltrate and ultimately destroy humanity within the walls. Right from the start of the episode, we see that the skies are dark and that there's a storm coming, mirroring the uncertainty and doubt that's brewing among the characters. Every drop of rain feels like a countdown, which intensifies as we get closer and closer to the big reveal. And then there's these flags. Other than being 3 literal red flags, they could symbolize something else. Annie, Reiner, and Bertolt. Or they could symbolize the 3 Titan Shifter reveals. Annie's, Ymir's, and the one coming up. Or they could symbolize them in a different way, namely being Ymir's reveal and then Bertolt and Reiner's. And then we have Hange. For those of you who have watched my Hange essay, you'll know that she usually has an enthusiastic and curious attitude towards Titans. Well, you'll know that even if you haven't watched the video. But that's not the point. The point is that she's surprisingly calm in this episode, and that's a strategic choice. She's playing a mental chess game, trying to piece together the fragments of information while ensuring she doesn't alarm or alert potential adversaries to her suspicions. Her calm is not a sign of passivity, but rather an exercise in restraint. Hange understands the gravity of the situation. She knows that any overt reactions or accusations might escalate the situation dangerously, especially given the unknown number of variables at play.
全員聞くんだ。もしライナーとベルトルトを見つけても、こちらの疑いを悟られぬように振る舞え。もちろん、アニ・レオンハートの存在には一切触れるな。彼らが兄の共謀者であってもなくても、うまく誘導して地下深く幽閉する必要がある。全員、分かったね？はい！
Attack on Titan has some of the most epic and impactful scenes in all of anime. All of these roads, all of these hints have been laid out to lead us to one moment. And as the music swells and the skies darken, remember every hint, every comment, every little scene, because they all culminate here in this very moment.
Reiner.